Good evening. Welcome to Homeless Perspective Live breaking news for this Thursday, January 28, 2021. My name is Tim Houchin, and here are today's top homeless news headlines. Okay, city and county officials in Sacramento did not open warming centers or emergency shelters on Tuesday, leaving persons experiencing homelessness with nowhere to go in the face of a severe winter storm that pounded the city, destroying encampments, causing injuries, and killing 2 homeless persons. The deaths came after Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg went on a tirade at Tuesday night's city council meeting, calling out the lack of warming centers. Steinberg, who was visibly emotional, railed against the county's rules that he said prevent the city from being able to open a warming center for more than one night. Here's a video clip from ABC 10 Sacramento showing the mayor's remarks on that Tuesday night at the city council meeting.
And then finally, I get an email from Joe Smith from Loaves and Fishes a few minutes ago, talking about encampments and how we're dealing with encampments and cleanup. This is what he writes me. Hope you'll excuse me, Joe, that I'm revealing your email. I think you intended it to be broadcast. He says, I am getting calls and messages that entire encampments are being wiped out by this storm. I don't want to have any more of these little fights about how the police are acting or not acting. I'm friggin' sick of it, all of you. When are we going to grasp that until we get people indoors in massive numbers, none of this is going to change? None of it. And so I put out my little resolution saying 60 tiny homes because we may get greater relief from FEMA. That's fine. It doesn't change the reality. Until we get people indoors and end these encampments in the right way, nothing's going to change. And if there is not as much urgency on the implementation from the council and from the city team, the city staff, to actually get product up now, shouldn't take 60 days. Shouldn't take 60 days. There's a huge storm out here. People are going to die tonight. And it's just business as usual. We can't get a goddamn shelter deck. We can't get a goddamn warming center open more than one night because the county has rules. I'm sick of this. Stop talking about anything but what it's going to take to bring more people inside in larger numbers. That's the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. None of it. I don't want to waste any more time looking at this video that the cops say this or say that. The activists are pissed. The business community is pissed. There's only one way to provide relief. And that is to bring people indoors in massive numbers. And if you don't want to focus on that, which I know you do, colleagues, but if the rest of the community wants to divide on all these important but tangential issues, have at it. I'm not playing. We're going to bring people indoors in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term, because this is a disgrace, what is going on out there in our community on a cold winter, windy night. We have thousands of people and we don't have shelter for them. And I'm calling out, and our county brethren too. Get in the game with us in an aggressive and an active way, because these are your constituents as well. 9:30. I think we've had a long enough day. Is there anything else to come before the city council now that we're done with this item and this review? I don't want any more video debates at the city council. It's not. We're better spending our time figuring out how we actually get live human beings under real roofs in rapid fashion and in large numbers. Anything else to come before the city council? Thank you. We're adjourned.
Okay, and now this video clip from the Sacramento Bee documents some of the devastation from Tuesday night's severe weather.
Louisiana, I was scared to death. I was in the center of the tent holding it like this, saying, "Peace, be still." Look, I guess God got mad because he said, I was like, TB, I don't know if I can hold it any longer. And I dove in the smaller tent, and it just took off, boy. I had never seen a storm that strong.
We're gonna deal with this storm again tonight, and you've seen the damage that it's done. The tents, the tarps, they're all shredded. So we need people to get inside. That's the only thing, because all these tarps, all these tents, all these sleeping bags, they're Band-Aids. And Band-Aids only cover, they don't cure.
So specifically with the storm, we've been getting phone calls all night long regarding people's tents ripping around them. They're soaking wet, trees falling, just different destructive situations. I just put out a plea to Facebook and to our social medias that they need to call into the mayor's office. We need to get these people inside. This is very dangerous. There's a lot of people out here, 11,000 people. In any other disaster, fire, floods, we would be opening auditoriums, we would be opening libraries, and we'd be bringing people inside. So they need to do the same thing. Take a big one.
Yeah, it messed my street dad's kind of bad. My dog's all right, and I just checked on him, and he's all right. As soon as I seen it, I went slammed on my brakes, and I checked on him. I had to because of my dog.
Okay, an emergency meeting, a city council meeting was called by Mayor Steinberg on Wednesday afternoon after authorities had confirmed that 2 persons experiencing homelessness had died from Tuesday's storm, and the forecast for more severe weather that was coming over the next few days. During that emergency meeting on Wednesday, the city council proclaimed a local emergency to open emergency warming centers and shelters immediately. Here's a clip from ABC 10 Sacramento.
Well, only about an hour ago in this emergency meeting, City Council proclaimed a local emergency, opening up warming shelters outside of the county's criteria. Now, in a unanimous vote, they agreed to open up at least 1 warming center starting tonight. Although many of the folks we spoke with living out here on the streets say this comes just one day too late.
To me, it looks like they got hit by a tornado.
Joe Smith, the advocacy director of Loaves and Fishes, spent his morning checking in on those experiencing homelessness.
To get flooded, this is awful. This whole street is flooded from here all the way to the end. All those tents are flooded.
Tents after tents he found devastated.
These are our brothers and sisters, and they're living through a natural disaster right now, as evident by all the flooding. Everything they own is trashed.
I am 59 years old yesterday, day before yesterday. This is one of the worst storms I've ever seen in my life, really.
Roosevelt Brannon has been living on the streets of Sacramento for about 10 years now and lost his tent in the storm last night.
Devastated, torn up. It's done. I have a tarp still, but a lot of my shoes are wet. A lot of my clothes is wet.
It's stories like Brannon's that have Mayor Steinberg fired up.
That's not the way we would act if there was a flood that affected non-homeless people. It's not the way we act when there is a fire, a wildfire, and people who are housed are dispossessed.
And after 2 people experiencing homelessness died overnight, according to city council members, despite the mayor's warning that this would happen, he pushed to open at least 1 warming center immediately.
I want warming shelters open every night during the winter, every night. Not episodically, not based on some artificial criteria. Cold is cold, wind is wind, rain is rain. We got to have places for people to come indoors every single night.
The city's warming center officially opens tonight at the Sacramento Library Galleria on I Street at 8 tonight, and it will stay open until 8 in the morning in hopes of giving a little relief to these folks out here living in these conditions. Back to you.
This is a very big issue that we are going to be following later into the evening. Of course, stay with us for updates on this story as well.
Okay, that's going to be it for Homeless Perspective Live breaking news for tonight. But we'd like to remind you that coming up on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Will be this week's episode of Homeless Perspective Live Weekly Update. Here we will cover the top homeless news stories for the week. And the month of January has been dedicated to the topic of homelessness and the opioid epidemic. So we'll have special guest Dr. Neil Schwartz from Families Together in Orange County, and he'll share his expertise on the topic. It all begins Saturday night at 8 p.m., so don't miss this week's episode of Homeless Perspective Live Weekly Update. And to see stories that have been written on our website at www.homelessperspective.com, or to contact us with questions or suggestions, please visit and like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/homelessbrother. Okay, we'll see you all Saturday night. Thank you for watching.